What's up guys, Leo here again, and in this video, I will be talking about a guide on how to apply to colleges, and this is part 2 of the series. In this video, I'll be talking about how to maximize your stats for colleges. And your stats, they include your grades or GPA, your course rigor, your SAT, ACT scores, and your AP scores. So every single metric, essentially, that will be submitted to colleges will be discussed in this video. So first off, we'll discuss GPA and course rigor. So generally speaking, in high school, you want to take the hardest classes available that you won't do too poorly in. So for example, if your high school offers a lot of APs that you're interested in, for example, like an AP, if you're interested in science, and your high school offers AP chemistry, AP biology, and AP physics C mechanics, try to take the ones you're interested in, or maybe just take all 3 of them because of their rigorous courses. And at the same time though, you want to make sure that they're not too hard. So if you're taking honors chemistry and you're already struggling like a lot, you probably wouldn't want to take AP chemistry, because you might struggle even more, and that might tank your GPA more, and you probably wouldn't be able to absorb all the content well. So you want to be able to learn well, but also take hard classes so you're challenging yourself. So important thing to do is to connect with upperclassmen if you're a lower classman, and essentially ask for the difficulty of the courses. And if you feel like the course will be too hard and you might just like fail or drop out, or you won't learn much, don't take the course. But if you feel like it's going to be really challenging but you still succeed, please do maximize your course rigor, because it's important to challenge yourself and learn a lot from these classes. In addition, if you do take hard classes like AP chemistry, AP calculus BC, it can give you college credit. So college credit is very important because it can save you thousands and thousands of dollars, and also it can just help you in general excel in college as well. Also, taking rigorous courses can help you prepare you for competitions, although they're not the same thing. I know that for one example, if you do well in AP chemistry and you excel there, it can help you with the US Chemistry Olympiad, at least in the local level, and you can maybe make it to the national level if you do well in AP chemistry and get an A and 5 on an exam and understand the content. You should be fine with the US NCO local exam with a little more studying. If you do well in AP physics C mechanics and E&M, well mainly mechanics, maybe take the F equals MA contest and do well in that exam. That's a physics Olympiad competition, the first qualification round. So in general, you want to maximize your course rigor. Next, I'll talk about GPA. So for GPA, to maximize your GPA, you have to ask your school how they calculate it, since each school calculates GPA in different ways. So make sure you're familiar with that. But in general, you don't want to take many standardized classes. You want to take either honors classes or AP or college level classes, maybe even dual enrollment classes to maximize your GPA. And even though GPA is not super important, it's just a number, you do want to get high grades because that will help you in general. But you also want to be able to learn a lot of information. I'm not a big advocate of just getting a high GPA for the sake of getting a high GPA, but you want to maximize your grades and also maximize your learning as well, which is very important because, I mean, learning is really fun in general, so you just want to maximize that. In general, if you want to apply to top colleges, you want to be around the top like 5%, maybe even top 1% of your GPA in your high school. If you're in a big high school, like if, for example, in my high school, we had 500 people in our senior class. So you want to aim for being like top 5 to top 20, maybe top 30 or so in your class, because you don't want to have a GPA that's too low, or else the colleges might just reject you just solely because of that metric, which you do not want at all. So you do want to aim for a high GPA, possibly like top 1 to top 5% of your class, even better if it's above top 1% if you're not putting too much extra effort in. But important thing to note is the law of diminishing returns, because if you put too much effort in and just maximize your GPA, it might take away other areas of your application and other areas of your life in general and your health, so you don't want to do that. So now we talked about course rigor and GPA. Next, we'll talk about SAT and ACT scores. So, for the SAT and ACT scores, you want to start preparing for the SAT and ACT in your sophomore or freshman year of high school, because it's important to get it out of the way before your junior year if possible, but definitely do not wait until your senior year or the summer before your senior year to start taking the SAT or prepping for the SAT, or start taking the ACT or prepping for the ACT, because that would not be a good idea. You'll be doing a lot of other things at that point and doing your college applications, writing common essay, and so forth, so you do not want to have that in the way at that point. So the best strategy would, because of your freshman year, would be relatively easy compared to other years. It's best to start preparing for the SAT and ACT in your freshman year of high school. And the best way to prepare, let's go for each one. For the SAT, the best way to prepare for the SAT is to basically maximize your scores in each section. And I'll go through each section and what you should do for each section. So for the math section, it is actually the easiest section to improve on the SAT. So you want to focus on that if you're not having a perfect score or close to a perfect score. And you just want to do a lot of problems. Do a lot of SAT problems. You can look at Khan Academy, you can look at a SAT textbook, or you can look at a SAT math textbook specifically. But you want to do a lot of practice for this section, and your score definitely will improve if you do a lot of practice. So in this section, effort will make you improve a lot. But it's a little more nuanced for the writing and reading sections, because for the writing section, well, you have to memorize a lot of things for like the grammar rules, like how the SAT is grading these questions, what the SAT wants. So for the grammar section, it's a little more tricky because you have to memorize a lot of things and then apply those things to the grammar section. But with this section, it's the second easiest to improve, because if you do a lot of practice with the grammar section, possibly through Khan Academy or through a textbook, it will help you in general. But also there's another section called the reading section. And this section is very notorious for throwing weird questions at you. And like this section is not really easy to improve at. So if you aim for around like a 340, 350-ish on this section, you should be totally okay. Because if you maximize your other two sections, for example, 800 on math, 400 on writing, and a 350 on the reading section, that should give you a 1550, which is a really good score already. So that would be a good strat, because reading section is just really hard to get perfect score on, or even close to perfect score on. So yeah. Also, you also want to experiment on what is better for you, the SAT or ACT, because and also you want to look at super scores as well. So as for experimenting for the SAT or ACT, you want to take both exams and see what you do better at. If you excel at one versus the other, you want to take the one that you excel at. So I would recommend taking the SAT once, then the ACT once, and see which is better, and sticking with that exam and prepping for that exam. As for super scores, most colleges do accept the SAT super score. So for the reading and writing section and the math section, you can use your high score across many tests. For example, if I scored 800 in math in August, then an 800 in reading and writing in September, I can combine those scores and I can get a 1600 super score. So that works as well. For the ACT, it's a little more tricky because only some colleges accept an ACT super score, so the research your college specifically, but many colleges do accept ACT super scores as well. And ACT has 4 sections. It has the math section, reading section, it has the writing section, and it has or the writing or English section, and also has a science section. So if you feel like you're better at easier questions that are more fast-paced, the ACT might be for you. And you prepare for the ACT in the same way as the SAT. For the math section, you basically just do a lot of problems. For the science section, a lot of problems and a lot of data and crunching analysis. And for the reading section, you want to just go with what you have, because it's really hard to prove in. But for the English section, you want to just memorize a lot of grammar rules, memorize a lot of what the College Board wants. I mean, not the College Board, whatever the ACT organization wants. And you want to, in general, just be able to do well on the writing section, because that is important. So now that we're done talking about the SAT and ACT, we finished talking about course rigor, we finished talking about GPA. Next, we'll jump into AP scores and exams. So one thing I want to note here, I want to talk about my own personal journey with AP scores. So in my freshman year, sophomore year, and junior year of high school, I actually did not do very well in my AP scores. AP tests, because I did not prepare enough for my AP exams. I was thinking they'd be easy, I'll be do fine, but so I didn't do really well in them. I ended up getting plenty of not subpar scores, which I do not want, and many of you probably don't want either. So what's important to do is to really prepare for these AP exams ahead of time. So maybe like April, start preparing in April. You don't prepare too ahead of time, that'll be too hard. But in April, in probably early April, you want to start preparing for these AP exams. And you don't want to underemphasize them because they're actually pretty important. They can give you college credit. They can show colleges that you excelled at your at this course and did well and understood the material even at the end of the year. So you do want to prepare for these AP exams and just do well in them. I recommend probably using a prep book of some kind, like Princeton Review or like Barron's or other prep book for AP exams you're really struggling with. For the ones you aren't struggling as much with, you want to just maybe use online resources. But do not underlook like last night cram, because these actually something work. Because with me for AP Computer Science A, I prepared for maybe like 1 or 2 days. I didn't understand anything for the entire year. I prepared for 1 or 2 days last minute and understood everything perfectly. So not perfectly, but everything pretty well. So you just want to maybe last minute, maybe if you feel like you don't feel like doing it, you want to just like grind last minute as last resort, because it's better if you spread it out. But as last minute resort, you want to maybe grind last minute and just get everything in your head. But you don't want to forget everything afterwards, of course. But you want to do everything, get everything in your head, all the information in your head, and just do well on the exam. But try not to forget everything afterwards. And maybe just review a little bit afterwards to retain information, because I'm not an advocate of just taking tests or getting everything afterwards. You want to recall information. You want to actually learn things, be interested in learning things, and I feel learning is a very important thing because it helps you get knowledge and real world understanding. It helps you understand the world in a better way. So now we're done talking about stats in general, and I just wanted to add one more thing. You want to aim for an SAT score in general above 1550 for the best and best of colleges, and above a 1500 for most colleges. That if you want to maximize your chances of getting to good colleges, you want to either aim for a 1550 for the best colleges or above a 1500 for most colleges. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and we'll see you guys next time.